Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out People of Reddit. Story 1. Suck your teeth at diabetes, enjoy your flight. Got off a 2-hour flight a few hours ago and had the privilege of sitting next to a troglodyte of a Karen. The flight crew, from what I overheard, was trying to help a gentleman with diabetes deal with his high blood sugar. This peach of humanity proceeded to suck her teeth and scoff, "What's taking so long? Can we leave already?" The crew ignored her to be nice. I, never one to shy away from being the petty instrument of karma, proceeded to pretend to sleep and snore just loud enough to not bother anybody except her, while constantly shifting and taking all the elbow room. And just to dash this wound with some extra margarita salt, I was kind enough to help this lovely elderly lady with her bags and let her go ahead of me to let this gem of a flight last that much longer. Story 2. Stolen jacket. This is going back 25 plus years, but it is a pretty amazing story about some petty revenge. My friend Jeremy was a swimmer at Yukon back in the mid-90s. They were given Yukon parkas when the season started and they were really nice. His was stolen at a multi-team swim meet in Minnesota in 1995. Fast forward to 1996 and I am at St. John's visiting my sister who plays basketball there. At the time there were no dorms and they would house athletes in apartments. The arrangements would often have men-women living in the same apartment from various sports teams. The night I am visiting, her roommate, who is a swimmer, is out of town and I stay in his room. When I wake up the next morning I spot a dark blue parka in his open closet. I am thinking there is no way that is Jeremy's, but I check and it has Jeremy written on the chest. Needless to say, I stole it back, wrapped it up and gave it to my stunned friend as a gift when he came home 8 months later for Christmas. He was living in LA at the time and had no need of it, but was obviously shocked and happy for petty revenge I took for him. Story 3. Another old petty revenge. A few decades took my brother to see 38 Special after winning some tickets from a radio station promotion. I had an old '67 Ford Falcon that I had to keep a close watch on the oil as it was on its last legs, and after pulling into the parking lot a car parked next to us full of younger rowdy guys who were already drunk. As we were getting out, one of the boys said, "Looks like a couple Kansas City faggots to me," and all his friends started watching to see our reaction. Now my brother and I were smart enough to know they were looking for trouble, so we just locked the car and went in to see the show. When the show ended I told my brother I didn't want to stay for the encore as it was supposed to be snowing and I wanted to get a head start and didn't want to listen to more shit from the boy if possible. It was snowing hard and there was a couple inches, so I fired up the car and we quickly cleaned the windshield and were ready to leave. The concert wasn't over and I shut the car off and my brother was giving me some WTFs as I opened up the trunk and pulled out a partly opened can of oil and proceeded to pour it all over the windshield of the guys that called us Kansas City faggots. I set the empty can on top of their car, fired my Falcon up and drove home laughing my ass off. I always wondered about their reaction to their big mouth friend was when they discovered the mess I left them. Wipers soaked with oil, freezing cold sludge mess on the windshield. I bet that was hard to get off with the snow falling. Story 4. Not my story but involves my ex. Okay, so after my ex left me and my daughter, he immediately started dating a young 19-year-old. They got married a year later and were married for 8 years and had a son together before she left him. Now my ex is a real class A POS. Truly one for the books. A liar, cheater, drinker, manipulator, deadbeat dad, child abandoner, etc. 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 He will literally crap on anyone and everyone, doesn't matter if you're his wife or his decades-long best friend. You get the idea. So she finally left him. When she did and moved out her stuff, he was at military training for several weeks. NBC of all the horrible things he did, like cheating repeatedly, lying, excessive drinking, trapping her in the house and threatening her with a gun, etc. etc., she decided she was going to leave a few surprises for when he got back. There were holes in the couch cushions from the dogs, so she stuffed hot dogs in them and also in the air vents. Scrubbed his toilet with the toothbrush in the bathroom, and put sugar in the gas tank of his prized possession motorcycle, that coincidentally he got from me by stealing money from me in the form of claiming our daughter on taxes when he wasn't supposed to, and taking that money from me and my daughter. Short version. He had no actual proof it was even her. But man was he pissed when he got home. Edit to add, she's also the one who caught him sleeping around with his best friend's wife and told everyone about it. She's basically my hero. Story 5. Alerting authorities to a repeat food offender. Oh boy! After a while of lurking on this subreddit, I finally have a story of my own to tell. So, the cast will be me, 27F, my significant other who I'll refer to as F, for fiancé, 31M, my fiancé's co-worker AC, awesome co-worker, and DJ, for dumb jackass. Just a couple of years ago, F and DJ worked at the same small-town grocery store, which I'll refer to as Company X. Both worked in the meat department. DJ has a nasty habit of taking various meat products that have reached their sell-by date, rewrapping them, slapping on a new label, and setting it back out on the shelves. He does this repeatedly to the point where the meat will be out so long that it'll become rancid. DJ was repeatedly warned by management about his shenaniganery, and how that wasn't okay. He essentially just shrugged it off and continued being a public health hazard. F saw this, and would do what he could to clear all of the old, putrid meat out, and put in fresh products. DJ did not like this one bit. DJ is an older man who subscribes to the mentality of age automatically equals wisdom, even though he's proof of the exact opposite, and takes great pleasure in throwing his weight around and bullying his younger co-workers. So naturally, F became a prime target. It got to the point where F was on the sales floor, replacing DJ's rancid products with fresh ones, and DJ himself came out. They got into an argument, which escalated to DJ grabbing F by the shirt, pulling him close, and aggressively shouting in his face. The only things that kept that from turning into an all-out fight was the witnesses on the sales floor, plus the fact that they were in plain view of a security camera. Fast forward a few months, and Company X fell under the ownership of a larger store chain and changed names to Company Y. Not the real name, of course. Well, with larger corporations come stricter rules, and DJ was at last given the boot. So he left and now works at a completely separate store chain, which I'll call Company Z. Fast forward to this week, and F and AC get to talking. AC mentions how he heard through the grapevine that DJ is still continuing on with his shenaniganery at Company Z. So, F and I decided to take a short road trip today to that particular branch of Company Z where DJ now works. If DJ was there, he must have been in the back because we didn't see him. We went to the meat section, and what we found was pretty much what we expected. Black ground beef, grey pork, grey sausages, the works. There was even a package of pork chops that had a sell-by date that was 4 days ago and was still sitting on the shelves. F took some pictures on his phone, and then we casually walked out the front door and back to our car. Once we got back home, F called and made an anonymous report to the Department of Agriculture. That store can probably expect a visit from an inspector soon. That's as far as things have gone for now. I'll update if I hear anything else. FS aunt voiced discontent over us messing with DJ's job. However, DJ is literally putting the health and safety of the general public at risk, so we both feel no remorse whatsoever. So, he can go pound sand as far as I'm concerned. Story 6. I ruined the end of the year for my classmates for making fun of my learning disability. In middle school, I had a clear learning disability that the district refused to test me for, I think to save money or something. I couldn't focus on anything, especially when it came to math and history, and found it hard to answer just about anything correctly. This led to me being bullied a lot. Towards the end of the year, my teacher separated all the tables and into groups, and for the last month of the school year, we were to work together as teams to study and keep everything tidy. We would get a certain amount of points with every correct question and when our tables and the floors beneath us were spotless. If we didn't reach the required amount, we couldn't go to a small end-of-the-year party that they were having on the final school day. It was easy to achieve if everyone pitched in. The kids at my table didn't like me because I was talkative and couldn't answer many of the team questions on my own, despite the fact the majority of this was to help each other with the questions and school finals. When it came to studying, they refused to help me with my notes, unless it was my turn to answer a question, then they would tell me the answer, would ask what's wrong with you. When I got an F on my tests, spread rumors about me, and my final straw was one girl called me retarded and asked why I was here when I needed to be in special needs. It is worth noting that the other kids that this was over the line, but still, I was a vindictive lil kiddo. In the last 2 weeks of school, I would purposely answer team questions wrong, that was -1 point we could have earned 3 times a day. When it was time to clean up, I would just couch down and watch my teammates clean while hiding a very noticeable piece of paper underneath my foot that the teacher would definitely see. Another -3 points we could have gotten. I thought my lack of contribution wouldn't help, but surprisingly, we fell just short of the amount of points. My table was really looking forward to the party, I wasn't since I was going on a trip the final day anyway. When the teacher announced who could attend the party, everyone but us and another table, my table was obviously mad at me. One girl got so frustrated with me, I swear she was about to burst into tears as she threatened to kick my ass in the girls' bathroom. I told them that they were acting more immature than me just because they didn't get their way and that it was their fault anyway. They obviously didn't like me in the following years, but I'm content with that one victory. Story 7. Note left on car. I just couldn't help myself one day after work when I needed to stop at the grocery store. I wasn't even mad, I just needed a laugh that day. Someone decided their jacked up truck needed to take up 3 spots in a packed parking lot, so I set my plan in motion. I grabbed a piece of paper and a marker and began to write a note that read, "Congratulations on being the first blind person with a driver's license. That being said, I won't hold it against you for not seeing how bad you parked. Smiley face, stay golden, pony boy." The next line was in Braille, yet I took the time to look it up. With an arrow pointed to it saying, "P.S. This is Braille for nice park job." Now just to add hilarity to the situation, I asked another guy in the lot to check my note to see if it was passive-aggressive enough. He laughed so hard telling me it was perfect, then watched as I put it in the window trim of the truck. I wish I had waited to see the reaction, but the truck was gone when I finished shopping. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.